All right, YouTube. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast, talking Auburn football. Go ahead and subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports. Auburn, down deep south, college football is king. And on the plains of Auburn, the battle cry is War Eagle. Auburn taking on Vanderbilt. This is the prediction show that we have done for the last few years. And we just got to talk about this thing for a minute. Auburn in a crucial game against Vanderbilt find themselves chasing bowl eligibility and the possibility of, I don't know, Auburn, the polls have done this before. Auburn wins out, they beat Vanderbilt and Arkansas, possibly being ranked in the final game against Alabama as we talk about this prediction show. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. You know, as we look at this, Vanderbilt's offensive coordinator, Joey Lynch, and play caller has been under questionable scrutiny here in the last few weeks. Vanderbilt has been a program that has been on the downslide since the situation where, I mean, this is crazy. Back in 2017, Vanderbilt beats Kansas State, and then Lafayette had said, look, Bama, you're next. Ever since the Bama, you're next thing, Vanderbilt's program just hasn't been the same. We won't go into the logistics of that. It was a downslide, some coaching changes, losses. It's just crazy. But anyway, Joey Lynch comes into this football game as the offensive coordinator for Vanderbilt. A lot of the fans at Vanderbilt have been really critical of him with questionable play calling, especially on first down. It's always been predictable. Hey, you're going to run the ball up the middle. You might throw it. You know, it's just been a really wild ride for Vanderbilt recently. But here's the thing. You know, utilizing Walter Taylor as a dual threat quarterback, especially against Auburn, who has, for all intents and purposes, Auburn has struggled at times against dual threat quarterbacks because it puts them out of position. Auburn has some fast linebackers. They don't cover the edge very well. They don't cover the intermediate portion of the football field very well, and find themselves out of position against these types of quarterbacks. I think Walter Taylor, who has not been named as the starter, they did say that both quarterbacks will play for Vanderbilt, but Auburn has given up some chunk plays, especially against teams that have the quarterback as a run-pass option. Now, with the return of Austin Keys and Keontae Scott for Auburn, it will help, especially with taking pressure off of Eugene Asante, who has basically held things down in their absence. The thing is, Taylor for Vanderbilt has not played much. But I think, you know, Joey Lynch wants to put Taylor in as an option because he knows that Auburn has struggled in this particular situation. And I think if he's utilized properly for Vanderbilt, it could create some type of imbalance and could create some type of chunk plays down the field that could be successful for Vanderbilt. But there is no guarantee that he will start. Ken Seals is more than likely going to make the start. Ken Seals is a guy that has been named the starter in A.J. Swann's absence for Vanderbilt. A.J. Swann is battling an elbow injury for Vanderbilt, and more than likely, I just don't. I think this will be what Vanderbilt rides out with. 2-7 will ride out with this concept for the rest of the season. Now, as we talk about the prediction for this particular show, Auburn looks to build on the success of Peyton Thorne, who was confident in the last game, had a lot of poise, had a lot of protection. I think that's going to be huge for Auburn in this game, especially going on the road. Auburn has not been successful against Power 5 teams on the road. Vanderbilt, Power 5. The last Power 5 win for Auburn was against California. I thought a very heroic win for Auburn there. Beating the odds, first time on the road, dealing with some time changes there. Auburn gets a huge win on the road. And I think what will work in Auburn's favor, Damari Alston's back. Jeremiah Cobb, the freshman sensation out of Montgomery, Alabama, is definitely in the realm. And you have a situation where I think Auburn has figured out that the 2-quarterback system doesn't work. Now, where does that leave Robbie Ashford? Package situations. Yes, you got to have him. You got to have those package situations for Robbie Ashford. And I think that will be successful for Auburn. But the thing is, from a mentality standpoint, will Robbie Ashford respond to take on that role? Because after Peyton Thorne's performance against Mississippi State, a Mississippi State team that I thought was pretty sound on defense, I think Peyton Thorne made a statement. He can run the ball a little bit. He can pass the ball a little bit. Yeah, he missed a few. But with film study and correction, I think he will even start to see what he can do in that passing game. Because without the 3 plays in and 3 plays out, I think Peyton Thorne can finally feel that he's in the grasp of this offense that will give Auburn some opportunity to get some stability going down the stretch. I mean, you talk about it. Auburn are really in a situation with the back end of the schedule to go into this Alabama game 7-4, and possibly, depending on the trajectory of the victories, I've seen it done before. You could be looking at a number 5 Alabama team that, assuming that Alabama gets that win against LSU and continues to win on, you could be looking at a number 5 Alabama team with an opportunity to go to the SEC championship. You could also be looking at say, number 25 Auburn team. I think the AP poll can get away with it if Auburn is able to get a solid win against Vanderbilt and a solid win against Arkansas and push the envelope to have 2 ranked teams in the Iron Bowl this year. Now, where do I see this game going? I think Auburn found something in this game against Mississippi State. They found some success. They got some guys confident. They moved the ball around to 11 different players in the passing game. Jaquez Hunter had an excellent football game running the football. Damari Alston, even though in limited action, just his presence alone says some things. You can also get some things going with Jeremiah Cobb, who is continuing to gain confidence. As a matter of fact, he might have made the play of the year for the Auburn Tigers late in the second quarter with that touchdown to get Auburn up in a comfortable lead going into halftime. Now, I will say this. I want Auburn to, if they have the opportunity, And if they win the toss, I want Auburn to give the ball to Vanderbilt first. I want Auburn to get a good 3 and out to start the game and really get some things going offensively, really diversify this thing. But here's what you got to look at, Auburn fans. Even if Auburn doesn't blow this thing out of the water, let's say, 50, they won't do it anyway because no other team has. But if you don't get a real blowout win, don't fret about that. I think Auburn is a superior team in this game, and I think Auburn really has to manage so many things. They have to manage making sure there's no significant injuries. They have to manage to make sure that everybody's healthy, of course, going into the Arkansas game. With that in mind, it's prediction time. I think Auburn has had that brutal stretch at the top end of the schedule, has something a lot more manageable at the bottom end of the schedule, and they go to Vanderbilt. Although the series is tied 21-21 and a tie, I think Auburn is the better team. Auburn wins this game 35-21. Now, I haven't missed too much on these predictions. As a matter of fact, I was dead on a couple of weeks ago with the, what game was that? I was dead on 28-21 for Ole Miss beating Auburn. I was dead on for that. And I was almost dead on for the situation at Auburn versus almost dead on for the Auburn versus Mississippi State game, where I thought that Auburn would beat Ole Miss by a certain point, but that was like a 4-point differential. But here we are with Vanderbilt. I think Auburn wins this game 35-21. I want you guys to get active in this comment section and let me know what you think about this game. I think Auburn wins this game 35-21. 14 points. Auburn definitely covers the spread. And it's if you're a betting guy, it's Auburn wins by, between 10 and 12, 10 and 13 points with the over-under of about 48. I think not only, if you're a betting guy, not only does Auburn cover the spread, but they might even get you the points over-under. I think you should take the over in this one. Like the video, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.